Ever looked at the big self-storage REITs and wondered, how do they do it? How are they always a step ahead? Well, I'll tell you, it's not magic. It's all about a really sophisticated pricing strategy. Today, we are going to break down their entire playbook so you can stop just competing on price and start really maximizing your revenue.
And this quote right here, it's everything. This is the core idea. You've got to totally shift your mindset. Get away from that frantic race to be the cheapest guy on the block and start focusing on a much smarter goal, getting the absolute most revenue from every single unit you have for the long haul.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll talk about that race to the bottom. Then, we're going to unpack the REIT playbook. We'll cover the mistakes most operators make, lay out a smarter strategy for you, and finish up with simple actions you can take, like today. Okay, first up, let's dive into this trap. It's this vicious cycle that so many independent operators get caught in, and let me tell you, it is absolutely killing your profitability.
So be honest with yourself for a second. That competitor down the street, what happens when they drop their rate on a 10 by 10? What's your first gut reaction? If it's to immediately jump in and match their price or even beat it, you might be in this race without even knowing it.
And hey, you're not alone. This is a super common problem. It feels like the right thing to do, to fill that empty unit fast. But over time, all it does is chip away at your pricing power. It devalues your facility, and ultimately, it just crushes your bottom line. We have to find a better way. And that better way, we can find it right inside the REIT playbook. This is where we make that big shift in focus. We stop obsessing about just filling units and start thinking about truly optimizing the revenue we get from them. This really lays it all out, doesn't it? The old way of thinking says, hey, 85% full is way better than 80% full. But the REITs, they ask a totally different question. They ask, which one actually makes more money? See, a facility that's a little less full but has higher paying tenants is almost always going to be more profitable. So how do they actually pull this off? Well, it's not just one thing. They treat pricing like this living, breathing tool. They're constantly adjusting it based on demand. They use promotions like a surgeon's scalpel, not a sledgehammer. And they systematically increase rates for existing tenants. The key here is that they are proactive and data-driven, not reactive and emotional.
All right, so now let's flip the coin. Let's look at where all that potential revenue just leaks away. Because understanding these common mistakes is really the first step to plugging those leaks in your own business.
You're starting to see a pattern here? This is the exact opposite of what the REITs are doing. It's that knee-jerk price drop when a competitor makes a move. It's offering a first-month free deal that never seems to end. And here's a big one: being afraid to raise the rates on your loyal, long-term tenants. Every single one of these is just leaving cash on the table. Okay, enough about the problems. Let's get into the solution. This is how you can build your very own smart pricing strategy and finally pull yourself out of that race to the bottom for good.
This four-step strategy is your new path forward. Number 1, build your strategy around data. What's your occupancy? What's the demand? 2, use specials to create a sense of urgency, not just as a permanent discount. And 3, make reviewing your rates a regular habit, not a once-a-year thing. And finally, number 4, you've got to build a system for rate increases on your existing tenants.
Look, at the end of the day, it all comes down to one core idea. You're offering a clean, secure, convenient service. That has real value. And your pricing strategy needs to reflect that value, not just whatever the guy down the street happens to be charging this week.
So theory is great, but let's be real, action is what matters. We're going to wrap this up with some concrete, super simple things you can start doing the minute this is over. All right, let's make this happen. First, pull up your rates right next to your competitors. Find that one unit type that's always full and clearly underpriced, and bump the rate just a little bit. Try a this week only special. And please, start tracking your revenue per unit every single month. These little consistent actions, they add up to massive results over time. So, I'm going to leave you with this one question. Don't try to change everything overnight. Just pick one thing. What is the one small, manageable change you are going to make this week to start shifting your focus from just occupancy to true optimization? That one little change, that's your first step out of the race to the bottom.